Tutti i piloti di Formula 1 sognano di guidare la Ferrari.
Every Formula One driver dreams of driving a Ferrari, and every sports car enthusiast dreams of driving a Ferrari. All powerboat pilots dream of handling a Pershing, and all boat enthusiasts dream of operating a Pershing. Today, it is a special occasion for us. We get to try the new Pershing 9X. Over 28 metres in length and more than 5,000 horsepower.
La postazione di comando è organizzata con 3 sedili.
The control station is arranged with 3 seats and the master's chair is almost at the centre of the hull. I'm comfortably seated and I have the throttle on my right and the joystick on my left.
Questo comando agisce non solo sulle propulsioni di superficie, ma anche su...
This command acts not only as the surface drive, but also on the 2 manoeuvring propellers, and then on the trawling, slipping the inverter's clutches for the right thrust on each propeller.
Su una barca di 24 metri avere la possibilità...
On a 28-metre boat you have the ability, despite the surface drive, to use the joystick command, and it's really easy. It's really comfortable. Look at how the boat rotates.
Posso scegliere qualsiasi direzione, marcia avanti...
I can choose any direction, forward, back, sideways, or any combination of these. It's great. OK, we're out of the harbour and we're increasing speed.
Davanti a me ho 3 monitor di controllo. Posso scegliere...
In front of me I've got 3 control monitors. Well, I can choose anything here, but I want to put the navigation map on. Here, all the engine data. And that console, well, different cameras alternate, but I'm not interested in it, so I'll make it disappear. Now I have an even better view on that angle. This can be the ideal position for the control levers.
Qua ci sono I trim.
Here is the trim of the surface propulsion and here the interceptors.
Con tutti questi comandi si può regolare l'assetto dell'imbarcazione, ma se volete
With all these controls you can adjust the trim of the boat. But if you want to simplify your life, just use this instrument. Look at this control panel that automatically adjusts the boat setup at any speed, taking into account a number of factors, including engine loads.
Terremo d'occhio questo pannello durante la navigazione.
We'll keep an eye on this panel while navigating, and we'll observe the inclination of surface drives and interceptors, which are like flaps, but more effective.
Bene, cominciamo a navigare. L'equipaggiamento che abbiamo a disposizione su questo Pershing 9X...
OK, let's start. This Pershing 9X is equipped with 2 MTU engines, each of 2,637.4 horsepower. The surface drives are from Top System, Model 105.
L'imbarcazione è lunga 28 metri.
The boat is 28 metres long, 6.3 metres wide, and the displacement varies from 68 to 79 tonnes, depending on the load. Think, for example, that the fuel tank contains 9,000 litres, and at this moment we have more than 1/3 of that, as well as a full load of fresh water.
Bene, allora...
Well, then let's see what happens when we start planing. Here, let's go back and observe our panel. At this moment, as soon as I hit the gas, the surface drive came to the lowest possible position. You see? Less than 100, and even the interceptors have come down under the hull, just to give way to the stern to climb and to the bow to stretch out of the water. And in fact, the visibility from here is great, and I can imagine that hull layout is already the ideal. Yes, we are planing 19 knots. Good, but perhaps the minimum planing speed is even lower. Let's look for it. Here, I would say it is this, 17 knots.
E adesso...
And now let's go to cruising speeds. A little bit more gas.
Il timone è elettronico, guardate.
The steering is electronic. Watch. You put it on the route that you want.
Quando l'ho trovata, lo lascio.
When I find it, leave, and the bar remains at the centre. perfect.
Nel frattempo siamo arrivati a 25 nodi e in questo momento il consumo di carburante è di 200.
In the meantime, we have reached 25 knots, and at this moment, fuel consumption is 265 litres per hour per engine, which means that it takes about 20 litres per mile of navigation. What is surprising to me is the silence of the hull. Well, it's not just an impression. Look,
Intorno ai 60
around 65 dBA. Great for such a powerful boat.
Questo yacht potremmo definirlo uno sport fly perché ha la postazione di pilotaggio anche sul...
This yacht could be called a fly sport because it also has a pilot station on the upper deck, a small flying bridge. But it is nice to pilot from outdoors. And above are the same commands, the same driving position with 3 chairs like here in the inner wheelhouse.
La Tuga è realizzata in un misto di fibra di vetro e fibra di
The
carbonio.
deck house is made of a mixture of glass fibre and carbon fibre, while the fly is totally carbon. And this naturally favours the lowering of the centre of gravity to improve stability. But they also installed 2 gyroscopic stabilisers. They are located right along the longitudinal axis of the boat. Already in the design phase of the engine room, they chose the best position for them to work more effectively.
Il Pershing 9X appartiene alla nuova gamma
The
alata.
Pershing 9X belongs to the new wing yard range. That is to say, the one featuring wings that close the deck house to the stern, and which definitely connote this new line, as always by Fulvio Di Simeone.
Adesso però è arrivato il momento.
Well, now it's time to move on to the action because a Pershing is a sporty boat.
Ho dato un po' di gas e la velocità progressivamente cresce. Siamo a 30 nodi.
Gave some gas and speed progressively increases. We're at 30 knots. Meanwhile, the setup has changed position of the surface propulsion and also pulled on the interceptor to let the boat run. The consumption at this time is 350 litres an hour per engine, even more gas.
Sentite il rumore.
Oh, do you hear the engine noise? The turbine started.
Si comincia a danzare sul mare. E infatti, guardate, gli interceptor sono esclusi, le propulsioni di superficie sono quasi...
It starts dancing on the sea. And in fact, look, the interceptors are excluded. The surface drives are almost zero. We are at 35 knots, 2,200 RPM, which is cruising speed.
Il comandante collaudatore mi ha detto che hanno attraversato l'Italia, partendo da Fano e arrivando sino qui, a Cannes, percorrendo...
The test pilot told me that they crossed Italy, starting from Fano and coming up here in Cannes, following the Beauty for 1,100 miles, with a fuel consumption of 24,000 litres. That is almost 3 full tanks. And you know what the pace he was holding? 35 knots. Fantastic.
Ma è un Pershing e se avete visto...
But it is a Pershing, and you have seen our other tests with this yacht. Know that their boats always exceed 40 knots.
Questa...
Will this succeed? The system has completely excluded the interceptors. The surface drives are level with the surface. The engine speed has risen to 2,425 RPM, and our speed is 39.7 knots, 39.9 knots, 40 knots.
Oh, guardate!
Look, 41.9 knots.
Con questo yacht navigare è fantastico.
With this yacht, sailing is great. Maybe on days like this, it is even better from here, from the Fly Sport. But the Pershing 9X deserves to be observed in all its details. And so, let's return to port. The Fly Sport can be customised. Here, for example, we have a large sun deck and aft a living space, where an even larger dining table could fit. At the bow, the technical area, very functional, but also stylish. The storage is wide and opens without any effort. After a living area that can be covered with an awning. The interior and the colour of the hull are customer's choice. The aft hangar has a carbon door. Inside you can fit a 385cm tender and a jet ski, the BRP Spark. The salon is very large, and in fact, look at how much space is left around the furniture. You could, for example, choose a larger table, some more storage cabinets, and certainly a sofa with more seating. The cockpit is packed with good ideas, such as the raised deck of the sun deck, which serves as a headrest. The table lowers down and forms another sunbathing area. The window, with only 2 elements, collects, then lowers and disappears completely, like this.
Non abbiamo bisogno di ottiche
We do not need
speciali
special
per il
optics,
grandangolo.
such as wide angle. This cabin is really large. There are so many furnishings, yet it's airy. On one side there is the chaise lounge near the vanity corner. On the opposite side, a desk and leather containers. You can choose whether you prefer 2 bathrooms, one for her and one for him, or one for a bathroom and a walk-in closet. This room is versatile, and the yard allows you to completely change the layout. The VIP cabin is forward, but not the usual shape. It doesn't even seem to be at the vertex of the hull. Mirrors, which conceal the cabinets, give the perception of greater depth. On all boats, even the big ones, there's always the need for storage space, and here we have lockers under the bed. Along the sides, 2 guest cabins, one with 2 beds and one with a double. All the cabins have their own bathroom.
La cucina si trova sotto coperta, nella
The
zona
kitchen is below deck in the crew area, but look how it's equipped. The capacity of the fridge and freezer compartment are like those of bigger yachts.
Questa è la zona di discesa sotto coperta.
This is the stairway to the crew area, but the crew, if they want, can get out here, so as not to disturb the guests.
Ora quanto può costare questo gioiello?
Now, how much can this jewel cost? It starts with a basic price of €7 million, and with options it reaches €8 million. But if you have it, buy this, and I'll be your guest.